Turf Moor, but it is a cruel defeat, there's no doubt about that. Full time at Turf Moor, Steve. Burnley 0, Liverpool 1.
So Leon, Liverpool's winners in their 4 Premier League games so far this season: 88th minute, 100th minute, 83rd minute, 95th minute. At what point is this Arna time?
Probably we're already into Arna time, aren't we? You know, it's a great thing to have. There's no doubt about that. You know, the belief you've had. All the most successful teams down the years always went through a stage where going into the late stages of the game, you still believed, they still believed, probably Burnley fans were still thinking that Liverpool could score. That's the kind of sort of aura that the best teams have about them. Would you want to do that every game running? I don't think you'd want to. I think the hardest lot would take it if you said, you know, in 32 games, 34 games time, that they'd won every game in 80 minutes plus, but I don't think it really is sustainable. They'll want to play better, they'll want to improve. They've had a lot of changeover in players that still need to find a way. Certainly at the top end of the field, it doesn't seem as fluid as it has done in the past at this stage of the season, but they've got the points, and when you're going for Premier League titles, points are important, and you know, you can play well as the season goes along. You can't take the points back as the season goes along, so we'll be pleased with how they've started.
And also, it's the kind of game, isn't it, which sort of dispels the myth of the free hit, because Burnley will be absolutely devastated, especially to lose in that way. I mean, Hannibal just knew the second it happened.
Yeah, the look on his face, the anguish, the look on his teammates around him that dropped to their knees. They could have no complaints, but it wasn't. You know, sometimes when you make a really bad mistake and you hold your hands up, yes, it was his fault, it hit his arm, it shouldn't have been in that area, but no, it's not like he's mistimed a tackle, or, you know, it's an upsetting one, it's a frustrating one, you know, and I think the red card contributed to that. Suddenly Burnley, who had managed to defend not comfortably but well and to a man, and were filling in all the spaces, suddenly were a bit more stretched, and there was a bit more desperation in how they were getting across the pitch, and in that moment there was a desperation for him to stop the cross that hadn't necessarily been there up until the sending off. But these things sometimes go your way, they go against you as well, and it went against Burnley today. Liverpool took full advantage of it, but you know, as I said, Scott Parker will be really pleased with what he saw from his team today. They were relatively threatening going forward without really creating a big opportunity. They were defensively solid, and you know, I think that's something for them to build on.
Good stuff, you two. Thank you very much indeed. Leon Osman there inside Turf Moor with Chris Coles, where it finished Burnley 0, Liverpool 1 in the Premier League. Final stages of the PJ Championship going on at Wentworth. Are we heading for a playoff, Ian Carter?
Quite possibly. We're on the final hole, and it's between Alex Noren and Adrian Sadier, who held the 54-hole lead at the Irish Open just 7 days ago, but Rory McIlroy won that one. Here, Sadier and Noren have just traded birdies at the 17th. They're both at 19 under par. They're on the final tee, and they're 3 shots clear of 3 players, 2 clubhouse leaders in Aaron Rai and Patrick Reed, who both finished with 66s to finish at 16 under par. Ewan Ferguson playing the last, currently at 16 under par as well. An encouraging 67 to finish for Matt Fitzpatrick. He's at 15 under par. Tyrrell Hatton today only 2 under. He's in the group at 15 under par in the final trio. But there will be encouragement for Luke Donald, I think, with Victor Hovland playing very nicely today. He's at 14 under par, and John Rahm round in 66 to finish at 13 under. The title lies between Noren and Sadier.
So if you want the drama of the golf, it's available now on Sports Extra 3. On Sports Extra 2, England-Scotland in that Rugby Union World Cup quarter-final. Maz Faruqi, they're underway.
We are underway. We've played just over 3 minutes here at Ashton Gate, Steve. Despite these two sides knowing each other so well, only one previous meeting at a World Cup between England and Scotland. That came in the pool stages back in 1994. It was a win for England that day. They're the overwhelming favourites again today, with their forwards expected to dominate, but Scotland with an opportunity to get the first points on the board, just about to take a penalty, and they've started really well. They're going to have to be brave today if they're going to pull off a really big shock against the side who are the overwhelming favourites to make it through to the semi-finals to play France here in 6 days' time. That penalty kick has been slotted by Scotland, so it's England 0, Scotland 3.
Still no action at Trent Bridge. Of course, it's supposed to be the final T20 between England and South Africa, with the series tied at 1 apiece. Melissa Story, any chance of some play?
Well, unfortunately, the rain has got heavier here at Trent Bridge. Now, our understanding is that the sides would have to be out there playing by 5:45 to get in a 5 overs a side game. However, this is looking quite unlikely given the forecast, and we might be quite close to an abandonment here, which would mean a series draw.
Into the Scottish Premiership, Kilmarnock Celtic was a 3 o'clock kick-off. Kenny Crawford?
49 minutes gone into the second half now. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0, and the hosts will be very happy with what they've restricted Celtic to so far, which is 2 shots from outside the area by Benjamin Negrin and Cameron Carter-Vickers, which are both well saved by former Wycombe Wanderers goalkeeper Max Strycek. Celtic now shooting towards their away fans housed in that big stand, the Chadwick stand at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
And what about Everton Tottenham in the WSL? Shojo Saka.
Everton 0, Tottenham 2. Tottenham happy to play on the counter-attack at the moment with the lead that they've got. Everton with plenty of the ball, they've just not risen to the occasion today. It is a big occasion given that it's the first time they're playing at Goodison Park as their permanent home. But so far, with 14 minutes to go, it's still Everton 0, Tottenham 2.
Right, we are 25 minutes away from kick-off in the Manchester derby here at the Etihad. We'll go through the full team news. We'll give you all of the important talking points after the news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Tributes are being paid to Ricky Hatton, who's died at the age of 46. He was known as the Hitman and won world titles at light welterweight and welterweight against boxers including Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He last fought professionally in 2012 but was planning to make a comeback this December. The former world champion Amir Khan was due to be there.
He was a massive inspiration to me in my career. Tragic news. I mean, for the world of boxing, not only for Britain, he was a massive name, and he's going to be definitely missed. I mean, what style he had, pressure fighter, also brought the whole of Manchester to boxing. It's a big loss for us.
And that sense of shock is shared by the former Scottish heavyweight champion Nick Campbell.
I know a lot of people that knew him personally, a lot of people that thought incredibly highly of him, and whenever he went, he put a smile on everybody's face. The life and soul of the boxing gym, wherever he was, and it's just really incredibly sad and devastating news to wake up to.
Other stories this afternoon, and Sir Keir Starmer says Britain won't surrender its flag to people who want to use it as a symbol of violence or division. The Prime Minister says the flag represents diversity. He's been speaking after more than 150,000 people went to a march organised by the far-right activist Tommy Robinson. The family of Jeffrey Epstein's most outspoken victim says Lord Mandelson should never have been appointed the UK's ambassador to Washington. Sky Roberts, the brother of Virginia Giuffre, says his sacking's a step in the right direction, but isn't nearly enough. The Israeli Prime Minister says his country's relationship with the US has never been stronger, despite President Trump being upset about the decision to strike Hamas leaders in Qatar. Benjamin Netanyahu has been speaking as he visited the western wall of Jerusalem's Temple Mount with the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And a yellow wind warning's been issued across most of England and all of Wales, running from 8 o'clock tonight till tomorrow evening. Low pressures sweeping in from the Atlantic, bringing strong winds and heavy rain across the UK.
Welcome to Radio 2 in the Park. Chelmsford! What an incredible weekend it was at Radio 2 in the Park in Chelmsford.
We brought a superstar lineup to Essex for a weekend of magical live moments. Let's hear you, Highland Park!
Just listen to this incredible lineup.
Brian Adams,
Def Leppard, Belinda Carlisle,
Jessie J,
Ollie Murs, Soul to Soul, Stereophonics and more.
And all the stunning sets are available now.
Listen on BBC Sounds
And watch on iPlayer.
Just search for Radio 2 in the Park.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Welcome to the Etihad Stadium. We are live here for the Manchester derby, which gets underway in just over 20 minutes' time. But I think everybody inside this stadium today, whether they're in blue or red, will be feeling a profound sense of shock because of the events of the day earlier that you will have heard in the news bulletin, and you'll have heard us talking about them all day so far on 5 Live. The absolutely awful, tragic news, the shock that we learned this morning that the great Ricky Hatton has passed away at the age of 46. The Manchester City players are just in front of us in their light blue and white tracksuits. Shortly they will disappear, and when they re-emerge we will see them in black armbands. They will also be marking the life of Ricky Hatton here at the Etihad before kick-off as well. This is what City said a couple of hours ago. Ricky was one of City's most loved and revered supporters. He will always be remembered for a glittering boxing career that saw him win world titles at welterweight and light welterweight. Everyone at the club would like to send our heartfelt